Our gardener in Kenya looked at me, smiled the biggest smile I'd seen in a long time, and said, "You are now fat!" And he meant it in the kindest way. Years later, back here in the US, a woman told me, "You're so lucky, you're slim." And she had no idea she was congratulating me on being unwell. I want to talk about what we think we're seeing when we look at each other, because I don't think it's what we think it is. Let me take you back to that garden for a moment. The gardener's name was Monga. He was a great gardener. He had worked for our family since I was young, and he was an elder, someone we had been raised to respect as such. He had known me through every version of myself. So on this particular visit, when we pulled up to the house, there he was, running up the way he always did. This time, when he reached me, he stopped. He looked at me and his face opened into an even bigger smile. And he said, "You are now fat. Mzuri, mzuri kabisa." Meaning, that's very good. I want you to feel what happened in me in that moment, because there was a split second where the American conditioning rose up in me and said, "Was that an insult? Should I be embarrassed?" But his smile was telling me I looked well, that I looked cared for. In many cultures around the world, and for most of human history, a fuller body has signaled health, abundance, being well tended. The idea that thinness is the universal measure of beauty or worth, that's a story, and it's a recent one. Years pass, life moved, and 5 years ago, my body began to change. Not because I was thriving, but because I wasn't. My thyroid was struggling, and anyone who's lived with thyroid issues knows what that means. The exhaustion, the strange shifts in your body, the feeling that something isn't right, but you can't always put your finger on it. During this time, I started hearing a different comment with the weight loss that happened as a result. "You look amazing. You're so lucky you're slim. What's your secret?" What they didn't know, what I didn't always have the language to say in the moment, is that I wasn't slim because I was lucky. I was slim because my thyroid was struggling. It was depleted. I want to be clear. The women who said these things to me were not being unkind. They meant well. Most of them thought they were giving me a gift in the compliment. And that's the part I want us to look at together, because the harm isn't always in the intent, it's in the assumption underneath. I want to ask you something, because I imagine I'm not the only one. Have you ever been told something about your body, your face, your appearance that was meant as a compliment, but it landed somewhere completely different? Because the person speaking didn't know what was actually going on underneath. The weight loss that came from grief or illness or stress you couldn't name out loud. The weight gain that came from a medication that was keeping you alive, or a season of life that was harder than anyone knew, like menopause. The tiredness in your face that someone read as you letting yourself go, when really You are holding more than any human should have to hold. If any of those lands for you, you should know that whatever they thought they were seeing, that wasn't the whole of you. It never was. Here's what I started to understand. We think we're seeing a body, but we're really seeing our own conditioning. Every comment we make about a woman's size, everyone is shaped by what we were taught our bodies mean. And praise and judgment, they're two sides of the same coin. They both reduce a woman to her shape. They both skip past her story. Think about it. You look amazing. Have you lost weight? Sounds like a compliment, but what it actually tells the listener is your worth went up when your body got smaller. That message lands in her body whether she agrees with it or not. I'm not saying this to make anyone afraid to speak. I'm not interested in policing language or making people walk on eggshells around each other. I'm interested in what we're actually transmitting when we comment on each other's bodies, because we're transmitting something, always. Before I go any further, I have to say something honestly. I've done this too. I have looked at a woman and made a quiet assessment of her body before she even spoke. I have caught myself thinking things I would never say out loud and felt the shame of realizing I had just reduced a whole human being to a glance. This isn't a video about other people doing it wrong. This is a video about something I am unlearning in real time alongside you. Once I started catching myself doing it, I started seeing it everywhere. I started seeing the woman who seems to have it all together, the one who shows up polished, calm, capable. We look at her and assume her life is easy. We don't see the night she just had, the conversation she's still recovering from, the thing she hasn't told anyone yet. I started seeing the woman who's been quietly caring for an aging parent, who hasn't slept well in months, who is grieving someone who is still alive. We look at her and we don't know because she's still showing up. She's still answering emails. She's still smiling. The exhaustion of that kind of love is invisible. We have no category for it. I started seeing the friend who bounced back so fast after something hard. We don't see what she's privately drowning in. We just see the bounce. And we use it as evidence that she's fine, when often what looks like resilience is just a woman who hasn't been given the room to fall apart. Every woman you pass is carrying something you cannot see. Every single one. The strange comfort in this, the part I find almost moving when I sit with it, is that the misreading goes both ways. People are looking at us too, writing stories about us that aren't true either. None of us are as visible as we seem. We're all walking around being slightly misunderstood by everyone we pass. And maybe that's an invitation to be a little gentler with all of it. So what do we do with this? I don't think the answer is a list of things not to say. I don't think, as I said before, we need another set of rules. I think it's something quieter than that. The next time you find yourself about to comment on a woman's body, pause, ask, what am I actually trying to say? And does she need to hear it? Often the comment is more about us than her. It's our discomfort, our admiration, our envy, our fear, leaving our mouths dressed up as observation. And when you catch yourself reading someone quickly, the way we all do, try this one sentence: I don't know what she's carrying. Let that sentence interrupt the story we were about to write about her. It's a small practice, but it does help. Then, and this is the deepest one, practice being witnessed without being assessed. And practice offering that to the women in your life. When a woman is simply received, not commented on, not improved, not fixed, something in her exhales that has been holding its breath for a very long time. That kind of seeing is what I'm interested in. The kind of seeing I think we're all hungry for. The next time you find yourself reading a woman's body like a story you already know, pause, because you're looking at a chapter while she is the whole book. If this stirred something in you, sit with it for a while. And I'd love to read your comments and your thoughts in the chat. I hope you have a wonderful day. From my heart to yours. Bye for now.